Recovered case file, DA Office Journal, entries of Bryan Singer. Closed case, 1993. This is a recovered case file from the District Attorney's Office, documenting the haunting journal entries of Bryan Singer, a 14-year-old boy. The case was closed in 1993, but something disturbingly familiar resurfaced recently. A shadow, a presence, almost identical. I can't prove they're connected, but I feel an unsettling urgency to share this now. Perhaps in doing so, we can prevent the next victim from slipping into the void. August 3rd, 1992. It's been a week. No one believes me. I've never kept a journal before, but I need to write this down. It's the only way to make sense of the terror that's been creeping into my life, clawing at the edges of my sanity. There's a man who watches me from outside my house at night. I don't know what he wants, but I'm terrified. The first time I saw him, I had just brushed my teeth, ready for bed. When I turned off my bedroom light, something caught my outside, beneath the street lamp, a figure. A man, staring, his face twisted into an unnatural grin, too wide, too wrong. I told myself it was nothing, a trick of the light. But that smile, it crawled under my skin. Still, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to seem paranoid. The next night he was there again. Same smile, same position. But this time he moved. Slowly, he started walking toward my house. I backed away from the window, my heart hammering in my chest. When I dared to peek again, he stood in the middle of the road, unmoving, staring directly at my room. I barely slept that night. August 4th, 1992. He came back, the same smile, the same gaze. But now he was at the edge of our yard. I called my dad, trembling, praying he would see the man. By the time he came in, the street was empty. My dad told me to let him know if I saw anything again. I wish I had said more, but I didn't. I wasn't ready to admit how deep the fear was festering inside me. August 5th, 1992. The smiling man returned. This time closer. My dad went outside, bat in hand, and searched the whole neighborhood. But there was no trace of him. My dad said it was quiet, too quiet for someone to sneak around unnoticed. He promised to ask the neighbors, but I could see it in his eyes, doubt, frustration. Was I losing my mind? August 7th, 1992. For 3 days, the smiling man stayed away. My dad organized a stack out with the neighbors, everyone watching their windows from 9 to 11. No one saw him. My dad says maybe we scared him off, but I don't believe it. I can feel him lurking in the shadows, waiting. I can't sleep. Nightmares plague me, his grin, stretched wide, his eyes hollow. I dream of him inside the house, creeping closer, closer, until he's right there, his breath cold on my skin. August 8th, 1992. He's back. Last night, he stood beneath the streetlight again, staring, smiling. My dad's losing patience. He won't believe me anymore unless the man comes closer, but I can't tell him again. Not yet. Not until I know for sure. I just want this to end. August 9th, 1992. He crossed the street last night. He's getting bolder. He walked to our side, inching closer to the house. I hid under the windowsill, curled up in the dark, hoping he wouldn't see me. I stayed there all night. I don't know how much longer I can take this. I don't know what he wants, but his smile, it's not human. And I can feel him getting closer every night. August 10th, 1992. Last night, the smiling man was right outside my window. I screamed so loud when I saw him that my dad came rushing in. But by the time he got there, the man had vanished. I begged my dad to call the police, and they searched the whole neighborhood, but they found nothing. No trace, no one. They put out an alert, but I couldn't give them a real description. The darkness swallows everything but his smile, that twisted, unnatural grin. I just want them to find him. I just want him gone. August 11th, 1992. I begged my mom for shades on my window today. Maybe if the smiling man can't see me, he'll go away. I can't take another night of him standing out there, staring in. I don't want to sleep in my room anymore. I lock the windows every night, but I'm not sure it'll stop him. What if he finds another way in? August 12, 1992. We put the shades up today. I hope it works. Maybe if he can't watch me, he'll move on, find someone else to torment. I just want to be left alone. I just want to feel safe again. August 13th, 1992. I barely slept last night. I kept waking up, staring at the shades, waiting. There's a faint glow from the streetlight outside, and I could see the light behind the fabric. Then it moved a shadow, crossing in front of the glow. Back and forth. Slow. I watched it for hours, too terrified to move. But after a while, it disappeared. I told myself it was gone, but I can't shake the feeling that he's still there, just waiting for the right moment. August 14th, 1992. I woke up in the middle of the night again, but this time there was no glow. Something was blocking the light, something standing right outside my window. I didn't want to look, but I forced myself up and ran to get my dad. He was grumpy, grabbed the bat again, and went outside. I watched from my room as the shadow lingered, unmoving, until my dad came around the corner. Then, just like before, it vanished. He didn't find anything. No footprints, no sign anyone had ever been there. He sat me down, told me we needed to talk. He thinks I'm imagining it, but I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. August 17th, 1992. The shadow came back. Every night, it's there. I can't help but peek through the tiny gap around the shades, just to see. And last night, I saw him up close. His eyes glistened in the faint light, and that grotesque smile stretched wider than ever before. Right there, just inches from my window. My heart felt like it was going to explode. I was shaking so badly I thought I'd fall. I couldn't sleep. I stayed up all night, watching, waiting. I'm terrified that one night he'll find a way inside, and no one will be able to help me in time. August 22nd, 1992. Something's wrong. I don't understand how any of this is possible. Last night, he was in my room. I woke up, and he was standing at the far wall watching me, grinning that awful grin. I screamed so loud my dad burst through the door. But when he flipped the light on, the smiling man was gone, like he was never there. I didn't know what to say, so I lied. I told my dad I'd seen the shadow outside again, just like before. He looked out the window, sighed, and stormed off. I could hear my parents arguing in the next room, their voices muffled by the walls, but I knew what it was about. My dad thinks I'm making all of this up. How could he not? How could anyone believe me? How can a man just slip through the window without a sound and disappear without a trace? But I know what I saw, and I don't think he's going to leave until he gets what he wants. August 23rd, 1992. He came back last night, inside my room. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just pretended to be asleep, hoping he wouldn't know. He stood there, watching me, for what felt like hours. My heart was pounding so loudly, I was afraid he could hear it. I kept my eyes squeezed shut, praying he wouldn't come closer. If he thought I was asleep, maybe he wouldn't hurt me. I hoped, but I wasn't sure. August 24th, 1992. I barely slept. He was in my room again. This time, he knew I was awake. When I opened my eyes, he started walking toward me, slow, deliberate, almost savoring it. Every time I closed my eyes, he'd stop, but I couldn't keep them closed for long. I had to look, I had to check, and each time I did, he was closer. I was so tired that I passed out. I can't stay in this room anymore. I'm sleeping on the couch from now on. August 30th, 1992. 5 nights on the couch. My parents are furious. They think I'm lying. They don't understand why I refuse to sleep in my room. School started, and I can't keep my eyes open during class. I've been falling asleep at my desk. But no matter how bad it gets, I won't go back into that room. Not with him in there. September 6th, 1992. Dad's been sleeping in my room for 5 days to prove nothing's wrong. He says if I don't start sleeping in there again, I'll be grounded. I'm terrified. The thought of being alone in that room, trapped with him. I don't think I can do it. September 7th, 1992. Last night, my dad forced me into my room and shut the door behind me. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. I woke up after midnight, and there he was, the smiling man. He moved across the room, creeping closer each time I opened my eyes. But when I shut them, he'd stop, just waiting, watching. I pretended to be asleep again, but I could feel his eyes on me, hear his shallow, almost inaudible breathing mixing with the pounding of my own heart. September 8th, 1992. I had a huge fight with my dad. He's threatening to send me to a psychiatrist, says I'm a pathological liar. He wants to put me on medication. He doesn't believe me. No one does. But I'm not crazy. This is real. He's real, and I don't know how much longer I can take this. I'm so tired. September 9th, 1992. My dad barricaded me in my room last night. He put a chair against the door. I was trapped inside with the smiling man. I don't even know if I slept at all. I drifted in and out, but I was always awake enough to know he was there. Every time I peered through my half-open eyes, he would notice, and he'd move closer. His teeth glistened in the dim light from the window, his eyes catching every flicker of the street lamp's glow. He just stood there, smiling, waiting. September 10th, 1992. I can't take it anymore. I can't stay in this room with him. I'm taking a knife from the kitchen. It's the only way I can protect myself. I won't let him get any closer. This was the last journal entry. The next day, Bryan's parents removed the chair from his door, expecting to find him asleep. Instead, they found him in bed, clutching the kitchen knife, his wrists slashed, his sheets soaked in blood. The windows were locked. There were no signs of forced entry, no footprints, no fingerprints. The medical examiner ruled the wounds self-inflicted. Psychiatrists who reviewed the case concluded one of two possibilities. The smiling man was either a vivid hallucination, born from Bryan's deteriorating mental state, or he was the physical manifestation of Bryan's deepening depression. The more Bryan focused on his terror, the larger and closer the figure became. Each time Bryan ignored him, the smiling man simply waited patient, unrelenting. Bryan eventually reached a breaking point, unable to cope with the weight of his fear and isolation. He took what he believed was the only way out. Just a few days ago, we received a call. Another boy. Another smiling man, standing outside a bedroom window. I can't help but wonder, will this happen again?